Welcome back to the channel. Today, on Chuckles and Challenges, we will be discussing a very serious matter. Migrant smuggling! To adequately model the scope of what we will be discussing in this presentation, we must first provide an in-depth explanation on the concept of migrant smuggling.
Furthermore, we'll provide a cause and location to such events, followed by the first-hand experience that will alter your perception on the topic. Following this, we will go into depth on how this affects the world and the people included in smuggling.
To end our discussion, we will describe what the world is doing to prevent such phenomena from occurring in the future. Shall we begin?
We shall.
Migrant smuggling is when someone helps another person illegally enter another country in exchange for money or something valuable. This usually involves the person paying a smuggler to help them cross borders. Unlike human trafficking, smuggling is voluntary, meaning the person being smuggled is usually willing to pay for the help. However, smugglers often take advantage of people's situation, and in some cases, they might end up exploiting or trafficking the person they're smuggling. Smugglers are not considered humanitarians, as they are in it for the profit.
Human smuggling is a major global issue, especially along two main routes, the East, North, and West Africa to Europe, and from South America to North America. These routes generate about $6.75 billion annually for criminals, smugglers in particular. Afghanistan, Libya, and Eritrea are among the countries that are affected by human smuggling the most, with Afghanistan being the worst due to its low resilience and high criminality score, mainly caused by the Taliban's control and restrictive policies that force people to migrate through illegal means.
Key smuggling routes: Eastern and Central Mediterranean routes. Migrants are smuggled from Africa and Western Asia into Europe. Causes include the Syrian war, conflicts in African nations like Somalia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Southern Sudan.
The second route we'll be talking about is the Central American route. The Central American route is where migrants travel from Mexico and many northern South American countries to the United States or Canada. Driven by poverty and violence, many migrants, especially in Mexico, Colombia, and Ecuador, are often forced to find a way to travel from their country to the United States or Canada, which they often to choose smuggling.
Southeast Asian routes. Migrants flee from Myanmar and Bangladesh towards Indonesia. Causes include political oppression, lack of support for refugees. Over 6,000 people were stranded at sea earlier this year due to overcrowded boats.
These routes reflect the desperation of people escaping violence, poverty, and political instability in search of better life.
For the next segment of our video, we'll be interviewing guests who have personal accounts of smuggling.
Try to make friends.
Want a Dorito?
Hey everyone! The new containing out Doritos!
Doritos?
You make friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, with us here is the infamous Stephen Ibrahim.
Now, before we begin, I'd like to thank you for coming on the channel, Stephen.
No problem.
So, Stephen, tell us your story.
Well, you first need to understand that my life in India was extremely dangerous. I would have to take my dangerous job just to support my family.
I see.
Now, Stephen, what family influenced you to pay such a price for a non-legal way into Ontario, Canada?
Well, as my family has always lived in poverty, I felt I needed to take any chance I could give them for a better life. So when I was offered a way to Ontario for only $4,500, I couldn't refuse.
Were you suspicious at all before your travels?
Well, in all honesty, yes, but I couldn't waste this opportunity. If it meant giving my family a chance to live better.
How were your travels?
I heard you guys spent hours in the ditch with little to no water. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. We had no water for the duration of our journey, and in all honesty, I was getting frightened about all of us possibly dying. Thank God we were soon greeted by the police helping us out of the truck and helping us integrate into society, which I found very easy in Ontario.
They didn't send you back to India?
Surprisingly, no. I thought they would, but gave us all 1 year to get a permanent visa to probably live in Canada.
Thank you. For our second interview, we have Tristan Diaz.
Nice to meet all of you. My name is Tristan Diaz. I come from Mexico City, but it's very bad, very bad. The cartels taking everything over, which made me, I had to run away with my son and my daughter to find a better life. I paid some smugglers to smuggle us into America so I could eventually move to Canada and find a better life for my family. But I did not know that I owed the smugglers money. So when I came to Canada, I had to find a job to feed my kids, to find an apartment to live, to pay off the smugglers so I could have a better life. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Tristan.
Thank you very much.
I believe that this one interview will show millions how much of a problem global smuggling is today. Thank you for your time.
Have a good
A crucial aspect of migrant smuggling is the effects it places on the world. These effects can be broken up into 3 different parts. Number 1. Dangerous for migrants. Now, migrant smuggling is highly dangerous. There could be fees of up to $10,000 per border crossing. Now, not only this, but migrants are often exploited by their smugglers, leaving them into situations of human trafficking, forced labor, and other such scenarios. Number 2. Organized crime. Now, smuggling generates billions of dollars per year, and this revenue typically goes to organized crime groups such as Mexican cartels or Chinese snakeheads. Now, what these groups also do is they control borders and turn migrants into lucrative commodities that they can generate money from. Number 3. Negative impacts on countries. Now, undocumented migrants can have strain in public resources, drive up prices, and pose security risks to the new countries they reside in. Although they contribute heavily to labor markets such as construction, their overall impact on the country is still negative.
Here are one of the 3 ways that we can reduce migrant smuggling around the world. So if our objective is to disrupt smuggling networks, which is what the US did, there are 3 actions that we can do. Higher penalties, for example, a smuggler can face up to 10 years in prison if caught, and if the migrant is injured, up to 20 years. We can have stronger prosecutions, which means like they're more strict and like they'll get worse penalties based on like what they've done. And we can also disrupt the pathways they take. The second method of stopping migrant smuggling is educational programs. For example, if we were to raise awareness and educate people about like the risks of migrant smuggling, we could possibly reduce the amount of migrant smuggling like around the world. For example, if the migrants were like taught what could happen to them if they chose to be smuggled, that would reduce the amount of migrants wanting to be smuggled. We could also help the victims identify fraudulent documents to make sure that they don't accept an offer that could possibly get them either scammed or lost around the world. The third strategy that we could use is protecting the rights of smuggled individuals. And our objective would be to ensure the safety and rights of those being smuggled. And some of the actions we can do to make sure that this objective happens is provide aid to the smuggled individuals to make sure that they get to safety and they get their proper like health treated. And we could also work with international agencies to protect the smuggled individuals.
Thank you for watching Chuckles and Challenges.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.